My wife served me divorce papers demanding everything. I calmly signed them without a fight, wished her happiness, and left the lawyer's office, ignoring her panicked calls after she realized the lawyer's office smelled of disinfectant and stale paper. She sat across from me, spine straight, lips pressed into a mask of courage she hadn't earned. The folder between us was heavy, pages stacked with demands, clauses, signatures waiting to be filled. Everything, her lawyer had said. The house, the accounts, even the car I barely drove. I watched her avoid my eyes. Her fingers trembled as they pushed the pen toward me. I didn't flinch. I signed. Stroke after stroke, each letter of my name slicing through her illusion of victory. I pushed the papers back, whispered 2 words, "Be happy." And then I stood, walked out into the muted daylight, the silence of the street pressing against me like a verdict. That was the moment her phone started ringing. My pocket vibrated again and again. I didn't answer. I already knew what those calls meant. She had realized. Too late. It hadn't started with divorce papers. It started with the silence of late nights, with her laugh echoing through a locked bathroom door, with the smell of cologne that wasn't mine lingering on her skin. At first, I told myself stories. Maybe she was stressed. Maybe the glow in her eyes was from something innocent. Maybe I was paranoid. But suspicion is a slow poison. It seeps, spreads, settles into every thought. Her texts became shorter, her body colder. She asked for space, claimed exhaustion. And then, one night, as she slept beside me, her phone lit up. A name I didn't recognize. A heart emoji at the end of a sentence. I didn't wake her. I just stared at that glow in the dark, listening to her steady breathing, wondering how long she had rehearsed this performance. I didn't confront her, not yet. Confrontation is sloppy. It gives the enemy time to prepare, to twist the story, to weaponize guilt. So I learned to move quietly. Phone records, deleted messages resurrected from backups, receipts tucked away in her purse. I didn't have to search hard. Betrayers rarely hide well. Arrogance blinds them. Then came the test, the kind of truth you can't argue with. A discreet DNA check tied to the child I thought was mine. I waited. Weeks stretched into brittle silence. I played the dutiful husband while her lies deepened. She kissed me goodbye each morning as if her lips weren't poisoned. She told me she loved me with eyes that flickered just slightly to the side. I smiled back. I held her. I memorized every detail, because soon it would all be evidence. When the envelope arrived, I didn't open it immediately. I poured a drink first, sat in the quiet, listened to the hum of the refrigerator, the ticking of the clock. Then I slid it open. Not mine. The words stared up at me, sterile and clinical. I read them once, twice, and then the storm inside me went silent. Because this was no longer about love, no longer about heartbreak. This was war, and I had just won. That evening, I slid the report across the kitchen table. She frowned, confused, then opened it. Her face drained. She reached for words, excuses, explanations that stumbled and fell flat. "I can explain," she whispered. I just watched her, unblinking, expressionless. "You knew?" she asked, voice cracking. I didn't answer. My silence was louder than rage could ever be. The next morning, she tried to strike first. Divorce papers. A lawyer polished in deception, trained to strip me of dignity along with assets. But I signed. Calmly. No resistance, no argument. Her confusion began then. Why so easy? Why no fight? Because she didn't know the part I'd left out. The accounts were already emptied, transferred legally weeks ago. The house mortgaged under a name she couldn't touch. The car sold quietly. Paperwork finalized. She had demanded everything, but everything was already gone. All she received were hollow walls and debts she never saw coming. And when her calls began, ringing through the evening as I walked away from that office, I didn't answer. I imagined her panic swelling, realization dawning that she had played the wrong hand too late. I could almost hear her voice breaking, begging for a response. I didn't feel triumph, not exactly. Triumph requires joy. This was colder, cleaner. I felt free. The love I once carried had been dissected, examined, and buried. What remained was clarity, razor sharp, unflinching. She had gambled everything on deceit, and I had let her. I gave her the silence she deserved, the emptiness she created. The last time her number lit my phone, I let it ring until it died. Because there are no words left between us, only the truth. And truth is the only thing I kept. I signed away the marriage, but she was the one left with nothing.